Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center as we are tracking a severe thunderstorm warning right now remaining in effect until about 9:15 this morning for parts of southwestern Georgia. We're not talking about a severe threat really across most of our area, but this is just an isolated storm that has evolved here that has met the severe criteria for hail. Not necessarily damaging wind, though I am seeing some wind here within this storm that we have to watch, and then an isolated tornado can't be ruled out either, but that chance is pretty low here. So again, breaking in early on this Tuesday morning with the latest, we do actually have some rotation here to the west of Reynoldsville there, but right now no tornado warning, but we'll watch. The environment's not really favorable for this action to reach the surface too much, but there is enough wind that it could, so we just have to pay attention to it because that is in an area with the storm itself that that rotation, if it were to tighten up, we might have to watch a little more carefully into Bainbridge. So just continue to watch this here this morning. Again, tracking the action. Let me go ahead and break down this warning for you here. Again, Tuesday morning, a severe thunderstorm warning goes for parts of Alabama, Florida Panhandle, but also in towards southwestern Georgia. We're talking about northern Decatur County, southern Miller County, southwestern Baker and Seminole County. Those in our viewing area here off toward the west. Again, not anywhere around Jacksonville, Gainesville, Stark right now, but just breaking in for that interest off toward the west. We do have some storms closer in. We've had some fog here closer in as well, but again, right now a severe thunderstorm warning with some pretty impressive hail signatures showing up in a relatively rural area, but we just have to watch as it gets closer to Bainbridge because we have that hail threat and a little bit of a wind threat here too. It just seems based on the radar echoes because generally you'd be a little more concerned when you see this for a tornado to develop. So even though the environment's really not favorable for it, you just have to pay attention because when you have those greens and reds like that, if it were to tighten up a little bit more, we'd start to raise our level of concern, and the Weather Service might pull the trigger on a tornado warning with this getting closer toward Bainbridge. So we'll have to watch here this morning. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning to 9:15. This is for the threat of inch-size hail, quarter-size hail. Bainbridge, Donalsonville, West Bainbridge, Malone, Greenwood, Iron City, Brinson, Bascom, Hanover, as well as Babcock, and even in toward Reynoldsville, Little Hope, Decatur County Airport, Lovedale, Boynton, Riverton, under this severe thunderstorm warning. So you just want to be mindful of it. Let's go over toward radar scope right now, and then we'll probably give you a tour of the area unless we have some new information on this warning, give you a tour of where the storms are in the region right now. I'm going to go ahead and get our latest imagery here on our Fort Rucker radar to come on in, make sure we're not looking at any old data here, as this does look pretty impressive here on our radar scope computer right now. So as we go ahead and pull that up, you'll see what I'm talking about here with these brighter colors, these pinks here to the south of Iron City, to the southwest of Brinson. Again, we are watching this carefully, of course. If you want to get these warnings instantaneously, follow the Twitter account at clouds_WX. And I was just getting ready to come on here, watched it move out of areas not in our viewing circle and into some rural communities, but now as it tracks to more populated areas, we have to watch a little more carefully here as we get closer toward Bainbridge and Decatur County, as we just got a report of pea-sized hail in a storm in Tift County according to the National Weather Service chat session. So some of these storms indicative of hail based on radar and these reports here. So let's go ahead and go to Tifton. You see some of that pink on the radar. So that's kind of telling you the story here this morning. So an interesting environment set up. We had the fog toward north central Florida. It's really foggy towards dark. It's been really foggy here. Looking just a little while ago outside, but again, we'll go ahead and zoom back on down to the south here. This is not supposed to be a widespread severe weather event, just a random type situation, not even a marginal risk in play, but just watching some of this action here. I'll go ahead, jump back on camera right now at 8:52 here on the horizon in a couple minutes. We're at 8:50 right now, though. So let me go ahead and show you what is going on here again on this perspective north of Reynoldsville. We just have to watch because that green and that red coming together just makes me a little bit nervous here. So let's check for anything that's out of the ordinary with our correlation coefficient, and that actually shows hail, it looks like to me here. more than maybe a tornadic signature, and the Weather Service is agreeing. They just updated the warning here, continuing it for Baker, Decatur, Miller, Seminole, but not for Jackson and Houston counties. You can see that polygon just shifting there on the screen. You actually see some lightning around. I know kids at the bus stop a little bit earlier, and that was a concern as we were looking towards some more areas, seeing some of that, and the fog too. And now getting them into the classroom here, you're seeing a situation where some of that lightning's remaining around. So just got to be careful with that. Just everybody out there. Luckily, well, this service doesn't think this is a tornadic situation, and the environment isn't favorable for it. But we just have to watch more for that hail threat, because this right here, I'll go ahead and point it out for you. It's to the southwest of Brinson, to the northwest of Reynoldsville. This is an indicator here on our Doppler technology of some hail possibly. So we just have to watch here. It's an odd scenario overall. We don't get this too much. We just have severe thunderstorm warnings for hail in this region. But I wanted to jump on because Bainbridge is a pretty highly populated area. We would have just sent out a tweet otherwise if it was more rural. But seeing high confidence in some hail based on correlation coefficient. I'll back this up a little bit. You'll see where we saw this even a little bit earlier on the frame as it was going from Florida into Georgia here this morning. So again, a severe thunderstorm warning remaining in effect. We're at 8:52 now, so I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap this cut-in update up for now. But we'll go ahead and broaden the view out now on our other source. I do have hail tracker up here, and you'll be able to see the overall scenario with this. Seeing some of that moving in towards southwestern Georgia here this morning. You saw where the hail might have been a little bit larger in the Florida Panhandle with these brighter colors, close to an inch. Right now, they put live hail tracker on, and this kind of analyzes things maybe a little bit better. We're seeing this down to only about a half inch in size, but you're seeing a lot of lightning moving in the Bainbridge, so you got to watch for that. And now the overall view, I do have the tornado parameters pulled up. You see those down toward the south here. That's where our parameters are greatest for tornadic action, and then we'll go to the whole area view a little bit here and kind of move the map in the spot you're typically used to seeing it. And you see some lightning off towards Suwannee County here, a little bit different than what the model is showing. I had the update here a couple hours ago, and we were talking about the axe and maybe trying to disintegrate a little bit more as it got closer now. With this coming a little bit earlier, that could change things here some. We'll just have to wait and see with the environment that you do see some conditions not as favorable for this as we're looking overall here. So that will be something to monitor as well, with those temperatures in the 60s here toward north central Florida and that fog. You see these indicators here on your screen. We're talking about these gray indicators here down towards dark Gainesville fog still around here, but then up toward Bainbridge, that severe thunderstorm with the lightning here. You're hearing that around, I'm sure, maybe seeing some of those flashes if you're at home, seeing that through your window maybe. So just make sure you try to stay away from those with the lightning, because that's a threat even with some of this other action. We'll take the radar off, take our METARs off. You see some lightning around Tifton where they had that hail report. As we go ahead and put our hail tracker back on here, you see a little bit of that showing up there and a little bit of hail, just small hail, nothing too significant, but small hail with some of this other action as well here. So it's an odd time, 8:54 on a Tuesday morning, but we are seeing a few areas, so I'll break this down. Nothing severe with this. And again, the other warning just for hail potential. Some of those winds could be mixing down a little bit, but you see near Cook's Hammock here, a little bit of that in Lafayette County. And as we get toward parts of Madison and Hamilton, you're seeing a little bit of that near I-75. This will be really small hail. And then south of St. George, north of McClinney as well here. So again, really small hail, nothing terribly significant with it in terms of that, or in terms of the overall storms, but except maybe for the heavy downpours, because you can see these purples showing up, and that would be indicative of some heavy downpours in an environment that's really not here as we get toward northern Florida, conducive for that large type hail that we could be seeing toward Bainbridge here this morning. So again, north of Reynoldsville, we're watching this severe thunderstorm, kind of a rogue storm here. I'll probably wrap it up for a few minutes. It's not a tornado warning. It's an unusual situation. It's kind of, I wanted to come on with it though, be on camera here and break it down, but because of the time of day here, kind of random, marginal risk, not even in play here. We just have a general thunderstorm outlook here for the region. So we're going to continue to watch this. It's getting closer to Bainbridge, and make sure just be inside around Bainbridge and Decatur County right now. Same as we're looking off just toward the west, as we just got a report actually here. This is in the chat session now toward Briceville, toward Duval County, with 3/4 of an inch in size diameter hail being reported 1 mile north of Briceville. So let me go ahead and see that storm. We showed you that accent just a moment ago on Hail Tracker, but actually starting to get a little bit of this closer to that severe criteria, and we're not favorable for it, but I guess anything can happen here. And we are starting to see that a little more impressive look to it on our other radar. So this moving into Duval, they might be on the side of caution here. The Weather Service might err on the side of caution and issue a severe thunderstorm warning for Duval if this were to get a little bit more well-defined even, because used to 3/4 of an inch in diameter was the severe criteria for hail, but several years ago, because we were getting a few too many warnings, they changed that to an inch in diameter. So used to with that report, they would issue the warning. Now probably not, but being in an area where we get closer toward Duval County, it's possible that they could err on the side of caution and do that here. So again, hail now 3/4 of an inch in diameter being reported 1 mile north of Briceville from the Spotter Network. There, spotternetwork.org. Person named Ronnie Jackson. So again, just looking at that here in the chat, that's a raw report, not confirmed, a preliminary report, but it would make sense with seeing some of those purples here if these storms are producing that hail down to the surface, maybe a little bit more than anticipated with that lightning around as well. So we'll take a break. We'll be back in a few minutes here. Things a little bit more active than we would like here on this Tuesday morning. It's 8:58 right now. We'll see you here in about 2 minutes. Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here at the top of the hour while we're continuing to watch that severe storm around Bainbridge, where the Weather Service has just said they're not going to reissue the warning because it is weakening, that cell is, but small hail is still possible. So that's some good news. Hopefully, if we don't get more hail potentials pop up here, we'll be able to wrap up this stream pretty soon. This will be just a random situation. Most of these storms shouldn't show this severe potential today. So that's the good news. But we might go over the forecast models in a moment if you didn't see my update earlier, and kind of talk maybe later on in the word timeline what could happen with this, though. So far, the actual storms haven't been following the models to a T, really, as we weren't expecting severe storms to pop up. No marginal risk even from the Storm Prediction Center here, and the parameters overall aren't too favorable for this. So let's go ahead and pull up radar scope real quick, though, as we are watching that storm moving into Duval County. That's not severe, but is capable of producing hail up to about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So we'll go ahead and show you that source now with Duval County, and you see those purples. That's indicative of some of this potential here, and this is some of our cell information. It's actually indicating now hail over an inch, which is intriguing to see. Again, the report was of 3/4 of an inch there indoor the Briceville area. So we're going to be watching northern Duval and just see if a warning might be required here, even though the environment's really not conducive for this. No marginal risk, even a 0 out of 5 per se on the scale. It's just sometimes things can set up here, so we always have to watch. We always have to be cognizant of what can happen, as we've had that dense fog around this morning, and that always is hazardous on the roads as well. Still seeing that even here as the last check in some of our spots. So I know, just see a dense fog advisory update come through for parts of the Tampa area. It's handed around till 10 a.m. even down there, and that includes Levy in our viewing circle. So definitely interesting to see that, as we're just looking at some of our hail indicators still. So even though maybe not large hail, some hail moving into Duval County. So let me go ahead and I'll stick with this a little longer here, just to kind of account for that in case we get another warning to pop up here. And sometimes earlier in the day you can get with these temperatures in play that they're not that cool overall. Sometimes you can just see hail potential maybe a little higher in the mornings here in these random situations. I know we saw it a couple years ago, I think. Not exactly showing the whole timeline there, but down toward parts of the coastal areas there in northern Florida, we saw some pretty big hail. So that was a bizarre situation, and that can just sometimes really tell you that you just have to be on guard. The threat wasn't very much at all, and you just see that popping up sometimes. So let me go to hail tracker now. We do have that storm we're watching moving into Duval and hail tracker, where it's not too impressive in this mode of our technology. So that's the good news, but it's overachieved a little based on this, underachieving based on our other system as of the last report there. But a little bit of lightning overall, and we just have to watch. And these storms off to the west, they weren't supposed to be here based on our model data, really, but they're here down toward Mayo, west of Lake City. So we got to watch them. We got to track them here this morning as we just go ahead and move along in the timeline. So definitely something that's interesting to see, as I'm just going to go ahead and check some more information here. Luckily, that little rogue area rotation on that Bainbridge storm has also gone away. So let's pop that up here. We were seeing it. It wasn't really in an area favorable for a tornado, but we were seeing those reds and greens, which is indicative of something trying to evolve there at least. But luckily, we've seen that weakens. That's the good news. So these supercells, you just have to watch it, because this has had a supercell type structure to it this morning here. It's still moving into Bainbridge. They're keeping the warning for now. They just want to be on the safe side, I think, as we get to a more populated area, just in case this ramps back up. But the hail size has definitely gone down. We're looking at some different things, only indicating on our product that's most aggressive now about a 1/2 inch in size. So again, this is toward Bainbridge, toward Decatur County this morning, but several storms showing that at least marginal type, you could say, hail potential this morning here. So we just have to watch. Not too much damage expected, but we had that warning, wanted to jump on for it. We see the whole area now, as the Weather Service chat update here just said that they just had a report here, is showing up actually in this, that is from an emergency manager, that they got hit by a good minute or more of 1/2 inch hail, and it's near Jones Road and Garden Street. So I think we're looking toward Duval County there, or maybe right on the Nassau line from an emergency manager. So let's go ahead and pop that Duval storm up. Just since we're on for it, let's just go ahead and talk about the other storm here as it's not severe, but getting some different reports actually in toward northern Florida. So that's why it's good to be on different sources, your Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, so we can track the acts in here this morning. So again, this is not severe, but we're getting hail reports in that are marginally, per se. I guess if they were to ramp up, they would be severe, but right now they're not in that range, not in that inch size range where you get the warning to be issued, but still just a novelty of some regard here, getting these reports, meaning when we're seeing reports like this, it makes me think we're getting this in a pretty widespread fashion, though it is a higher populated area too, so that's something interesting to see in the morning as we look at correlation coefficient. It's kind of hard to see right near the airport, but again, some hail being reported toward Duval County as that severe warning just got expired by the Weather Service there in toward Tallahassee area for Baker, Decatur, Miller, and Seminole in southwest Georgia. But we watched the storm here as we look toward Duval County, where another update on that hail report now is that the hail has covered about 50 to 75% of the ground. So that's kind of is what I would have expected just based on hearing these different reports. I mean, we're getting quite a bit of hail out of this storm. Maybe not damaging hail, but still might cause some slipping and sliding on the roads or in some spots. I mean, that's quite a bit of coverage on the ground, 50 to 75%, or just walking around even. And it's kind of interesting to hear. Again, northern Florida Tuesday morning, and we're going to go ahead and I think get our models ready to show as if we don't get a warning for this storm toward Duval or any new warnings popping up, we'll wrap it up pretty soon. But just kind of stick with us for a few minutes just in case we get a warning for Duval because of these reports we're getting in. An odd situation, again, getting hail, not too big of an event, don't get me wrong. We're not going to get a tornado watch today, but again, we are just going to watch things, make sure that you're staying safe out there here this morning. So again, that storm in Bainbridge now, they've expired that severe thunderstorm warning. You see here toward Decatur County, and it's not as organized as it was. Now, we did have our models in play earlier here. So let me go ahead and pop in our model information. If we can go ahead and this is supposed to be 1 o'clock, though we'll see exactly how things set up. I did have this from my show this morning here from 1 o'clock. We'll get that in here momentarily. So this is what I had in here at 1 o'clock, and we'll see exactly just how things end up going here because the accent off toward the west does kind of align in that the more widespread banding could come through at that point. So just go to cloudsweather.com/radar for the latest look at the imagery here as things are going on. But again, no active warnings right now. And I'll kind of click through this here a little bit more, even 4 o'clock, you see it kind of winding on down a little bit. So that would be some good news here. And then as we look toward, I know the rainfall forecast, we said this earlier as well, but while we're on live, let's just go ahead and show it again. That rainfall towards southwestern Georgia, adding on up over the next 7 days. The rainfall definitely going to be an issue here as you're seeing some of this around. Hopefully it doesn't fall too quick though, as we do have that rain chance today, the fog threat this morning as well, and the fog possible as we look ahead and toward that timeline. So just something to kind of look ahead to as we see Valentine's Day. Hopefully we start to dry out a little bit there, but we're about 50% on your Valentine's Day, and then you see 40% as we get toward Monday. So definitely something interesting there. Hopefully we'll just kind of see a pattern dry out some, but in this active pattern on the edge of the cold and the warmer air, and that's why we're having that moisture around. So that's kind of just a rundown of things here with the graphics. Let me go ahead and pop our other system back on in right now. Again, we're watching the accent here, and I think we're going to go ahead and look at some of these cameras here to see if we're seeing fog or hail or anything of that regard. So let's go ahead and do a quick camera tour. We'll start off in Lodi here in Bradford County, and you still see that foggy type condition around. So this is weather stem, and you still kind of see that foggy condition here. So just play it safe on the roads. And in fact, I'll go ahead and pull up our information here to see if there's anything else that I can kind of add to the situation with the fog. And the dense fog advisory does continue to 10 a.m. Toward Duval County and some of these other counties, Bradford as well. So I just got to use the extra caution because of that 1/4 mile or less in visibility with the dense fog around. So just be very careful out there. This morning we're still just going to continue to watch that. And let's go ahead now and as we see a special weather statement come out to 10 for Decatur, Grady, Mitchell, Thomas, and a hail report at dime size being processed up toward Phillipsburg and Tipp County, Georgia. We're going to go ahead and transition over toward the baseball grounds camera now into toward Jacksonville. It's got to give it a second. It's early, our system kind of going a little bit slow here, and look at that. Look at how just hard it is to see anything out there, and that's because of the fog still hanging around and not that far away. We've had hail reported, so this kind of gives you an idea of the atmospheric dynamics this morning around here. Seeing a sight like this, I mean, it really makes it tough to drive. Got to be extra careful still in the roads, even though we're past the morning commute. You're still seeing this linger around, which is quite unusual as well here. As we're getting later on in the morning, fog advisories don't normally get at 10 o'clock, so that's something you have to factor in here as well. And then as we go over now, we'll go to Union County. I have that one in the system, and we'll see more fog. That's the story there as well. And just use that extra caution. And our final stop for now, I think, will be UF's weather stem camera. You don't see that as much. The shot doesn't really show that as much, but it's still kind of hazy out there. And we're getting still reports from the Gainesville Airport of about a 1/4 of a mile visibility. So just take it easy on the roads. Hail being reported, some spots, a foggy morning and others here. So definitely an interesting start to your Tuesday overall. A little bit of an issue out there this morning as we continue to watch the different reports come on into our system. As we go ahead and go back to the wide view now, we're watching the line out toward the west here. As you have temperatures around 60 in Tallahassee and 63 in Keystone. We're at 63 where I'm at in the Stark area as well. So no rain here so far. The winds haven't been too strong, though we did have a gust of 9 a few minutes ago. As we just continue to see these different informational reports come on in. As you see 58 up toward Albany, 63 Keystone, 64 Gainesville. Some lightning in some of our communities as well. So lightning, hail, and fog all kind of in different spots of our region. It's gotten a little more active than maybe we were anticipating. And later in the week we'll have to watch maybe for more organized type of acts. But even this is showing pretty good organization in some regard with that banding off toward the west. So just take it easy out there. I don't think we have too much more to add, but I will go to the Jacksonville radar view of our GR level 3 computer in just a second. We'll let that load on into our system here. We'll let that load on into things and just see if we can examine some of these storms. And again, you're just looking at the wide view, the hail reports toward Duval and up toward Tipton here, the fog reports, the reports there, again, of just some other issues out there as well. You just have to be cognizant of that. And lightning, of course, just want to make sure you're aware of that here. As we go over to GR level 3 now, I have that on in our system. You see a little bit of wind here as we're looking up into storms, but then some different advisories in play. You see a significant weather advisory up toward Fargo, the one toward Duval here. Again, we're looking just near the airport, so you got to watch out for some of that hail not too far away. It might make it a little harder to see exactly what's going on with this storm, but then more rain coming in, so it might get some more rain than we were thinking earlier here with this. It might weaken out some, but just got to watch. You see the lightning here coming into view. Seeing some of that definitely add on up overall in the picture in the grand scheme of things. We'll just look at some of the wind energy, not too substantial there, luckily, with the overall atmospheric profile, but you do see some of these purples showing on up here. So that kind of tells a story with these heavy downpours, maybe some hail trying to translate here to the surface. As we look over Duval County correlation coefficient, I'm just zooming on in, and you're not seeing it right there, but let's go over if we saw any drop out here, and there might be something here. It might be trying to drop out. It's hard to say, but we've seen reports. I suspect there's some hail here. Even though it's not severe hail, we normally wouldn't be on if we didn't have that other warning. Hail definitely could be falling right now near Indian Road, Trout River Boulevard here in Duval County. Also getting over toward, it looks like Robinwood Lane. Also here in Duval County, we're talking about Lim Turner Road. So again, definitely seeing some of that potential here. We're not too far away up my 295 even with that. So seeing some of these different reports, I just always have to be mindful here on your Tuesday. I'm just going to check on a wide view now of our sources to see hail, and we're not seeing too much in the live mode right now, so that's good. That's to be clicked on. I don't want to see anything now with that. So let me back it up just to make sure we're not missing anything. So yeah, we had some of these earlier, but maybe, hopefully, the parameters really aren't going to stay favorable for that for too long here, even though I think we are getting a little bit, despite what this is not still into Ward Duval, it may definitely be getting some of that to translate as we're looking toward Duval County this morning. But you see these temperatures in the 60s in Florida here, 64 Keystone, latest update 56 Waycross. And the overall view does says some of those storms, some of that lightning around here. So let's go back over toward our radar scope again to show you what's going on here. You'll be able to see exactly what it does display. Again, Branford, Mayo, Lake City, seeing some of this. Again, some of this could translate off towards dark. Shouldn't be severe. Could have a little bit of hail in it maybe. But we'll just watch. If we need to break back in, we will. Hopefully we don't have to, though. And if we don't have to break back in, you'll see me again tomorrow morning about 7 a.m. with another update. But if I do have to break back in, of course, I will. I'll keep you safe. And again, cloudsweather.com/radar is a great place to go for the latest. Also on Twitter there, you can go toward clouds_WX for the very latest in terms of any weather alerts that break, any storm reports, raw storm reports. Sometimes they'll be filtered through there as well. So you got to make sure it does seem reasonable. Sometimes it'll just come through with a report that isn't actually accurate based on a mismeasurement there or a bad reading on a wind gauge per se. But again, hopefully we don't have anything that ramps up too much today. Again, hopefully we don't have to break back in, but if we do, you can count on me. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great morning out there. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud.